What's good, y'all? It's your boy Days back again with another video. So today we are doing NCAA football stadiums part 5. Okay. So last video we did CAA, Southland, and Big South. But this video we are going to do 5. No, we're going to do four conferences. So we're going to do Pioneer Conference. We're going to do the Big Sky Conference. We're going to do the OVC or Ohio Valley Conference. And we're going to do the Patriot League. So are we, like I say, so you know how it is, you know how we do it. Instead of, giving them these stadiums grades, letter grades, we're going to grade them by coaching years. So like, how long will I coach here at this school and stuff? So is this school worthy for me to coach here for 5 years and to life, or is it valuable to coach here for 3 to 4 years, or is it valuable to coach here for 2 to 3 years, or 2 years, or one and done? So pretty much. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Shout out to Worldwide Stadiums for the video, and yeah, let's do what we got to do and get into it. You know what I'm saying? So up on deck is Pioneer League. Pioneer League. Guess what? It's showtime.
Soccer team in the future. I can understand why they want to play here. The Pioneer League features teams from all across the country, the USA, and although the stadiums aren't big or flashy, there certainly are some interesting ones among them. So here are the Pioneer League football stadiums. Bailey Memorial Stadium, Presbyterian Blue Hose. We start off with a very simple stadium.
Ray, will I coach here? Or will you coach here? To be honest with you, if I can get another size deck like this, another size seating on the away side, I would coach here. But in reality, this is a one and done. It's more of like a JUCO school to me.
That's very easy on the eye, a common theme throughout the conference. The main stand has an old school design with plenty of brick used. Other than that, most of the field is surrounded by a grass berm.
Shout out to whatever the school called PC.
And beyond that, forest.
Who's it? Presbyterian College. Shout out to y'all. But like I say, see, I got all this room. This is a burn, right? Y'all got all this burn, man. One and done.
Which makes for a very tranquil setting. That was loud. Oh, did I mention that there's a cannon that goes off every time the home team scores? So be prepared for that. Brown Field, home of the Valparaiso Beacons, who are
Right, will you coach here?
Obviously colorblind.
Look at it.
The stadium opened over 100 years ago.
No, I would not coach here. This is more like a high school stadium. I'm sorry. No, I would not coach here.
Making it over 100 years old. And I can't imagine it's a whole lot different to what it was back in the early.
And before I'm gonna get off topic, I'm gonna go into the gameplay topic. EA Sports. If you listen to this, if you know anybody that watches this video, if you know somebody that work at EA Sports, if I see these type of stadiums, okay, in NCAA instead of the FCS conferences like HBCU conferences, you count your days, okay? Count your days. Just know, count your days. because no, this is unacceptable. No, I'm sorry, no.
Early days.
And this is supposed to be the Pioneer League. This is actually a Division One league, to be honest with you, or Division Two, whatever they are. Because I think Pioneer consists of like Harvard and stuff, and Brown. Come on now.
Obviously,
Oh, Valpo. Like I say, I would not coach here.
the field was natural grass and the track was probably cinder back then. But it hasn't really needed to expand. The basketball arena that sort of overshadows the stadium actually has a slightly
I think Princeton is in this league too as well.
larger capacity, which has got to be rare. What to say about the stadium? There's a fairly new scoreboard that's brown. The end zones are brown too. Yeah, let's move on. Salic Bowl, Butler Bulldogs. Now, this is an interesting design. Despite the name, it's not an actual bowl in the traditional sense.
Right, will you coach here? I would. I would coach here. The only thing I need them to do is give me some more seats. Y'all got all this grass burn. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all the Bulldogs, but like I say, I need seats from right here all the way over here. And I need seats from right here and all the way over here. Okay? And I don't care about these seats. And that's could be your grass burn right there. But if I get seats from all the way around like this, you got me. Okay? But for Butler, I'm gonna have to do one and done. One and done. It's more of a transitional college.
I mean, clearly it's not an actual
For
ceramic
football.
bowl, but you know what I mean. It's not a traditional bowl stadium. But the landscaping forms a sort of amphitheater, with the main stand being built into the earth. The eastern side of the stadium, however, is made up of, well, a small stand, but beyond that, apartment buildings, which makes for a very interesting look. I like that though. I also like the way the scoreboard sits atop the hill. Drake Stadium, Drake Bulldogs. I want to make
Right, will you coach here? Drake Bulldogs? Absolutely. I'll at least do 2 years here. 2 years.
it clear that the stadium and the school are not named after the famous musician that goes by the same name. You know the one I'm talking about. He rose to fame on that Nickelodeon show back in the day. Oh, I was thinking of Drake and Josh, but that works even better. It's home to the historic Drake Relays, which have been taking place here basically since the stadium opened in the 1920s. Combine that with its horseshoe shape and wraparound brick facade, it's basically the Franklin Field of Iowa. Just not quite as old and not as grandiose, but it does have a more distinctive blue track, which earns it the nickname the Blue Oval. Not the most imaginative name, come to think of it. Jane Stadium, Moorhead State Eagles.
Right, will you coach here? Moorhead? No. I will not coach here at Moorhead. Probably for baseball. But for football, no.
It's the seats that are blue this time, a very garish shade of blue. Contrasted with the lush greenery that surrounds the place makes for a very visually stimulating stadium. However, despite being one of the newer stadiums in the conference, the facilities are a little dated, and it certainly shows, on the outside in particular. But I think they are considering renovating the stadium. I'm not 100% sure it will actually happen, but it looks promising. O'Shaughnessy Stadium, St. Thomas Tommies.
Right, will you coach here? In St. Thomas? Will I coach St. Thomas? No, I will not coach St. Thomas. Sorry.
O'Shaughnessy has to be the most Irish name there is. Ooh, a purple track. That's nice. But we're not here for the purpleness of the track or the Irishness of the name. It's a lovely little stadium. The exterior of the main stand has a bit of a medieval look to it, matching the campus. But I like the other side of the stadium even better. There's some unusual elevated seating, but the backdrop of the athletic complex, the brick buildings, and the chimney, I just love it. Looks great. Richardson Stadium, Davidson Wildcats. A lot of old stadiums in this conference, and most of them quite simple. This would have to be the most simple of the lot though, just the one stand.
Ray, will you coach here? Davidson? Nope. I'm sorry. Can't do it.
But the building behind the north
Reason why I can't do it, look at this. No away bleachers. Can't do it. The track ruins everything. Telling you. The track will ruin your whole chances of going to going to coach at a school. I'm telling you.
north end zone complements the stadium quite nicely, and there are plenty of trees about the place, so it seems like a splendid place to watch football. Just not much to say about it. Spec Martin Stadium, Stetson Hatters. It's an off-campus stadium, so the
Ray, will you coach here? Yeah, I would. I would coach here. It's a lower bowl. If I get some more seats on the grass burn and stuff, I will coach here.
architectural style of the buildings doesn't have to match that of the campus. Instead, it matches the adjacent ballpark.
And plus, I like the ballpark too. So yeah, I would definitely coach here. I do 3 years here. Yeah, 3 years.
Nice change up from the typical college aesthetic. And it's not quite a cannon, but they do have a huge bell that they ring. Which, yeah, a cannon's better, but this won't damage your ears. Oh, and I never thought I'd bring up anything to do with Adam Sandler, but the stadium featured in The Waterboy. Whether that's something to brag about or a stain on its history is up to you. It's a solid stadium regardless. Tennis Stadium, Marist Red Foxes. Just a stone's throw.
Ray, will you coach there? No. The reason why I'm not coaching here, that right there. It's like they tried to do a stand, but they tried to do a stand over here, but instead they want a grass burn right here, knowing that they got a grass burn right here and the little grass burn right there. So what's the point of having this grass burn? They could have put another stand right there. So no, I will not coach here.
Just a stone's throw from the Hudson River is what appears to be a very well polished stadium, if that's the right way to describe it. Despite having opened in the 60s, it was basically completely rebuilt in the mid-2000s, where it gained that rather nice grandstand to the east, which features a stone exterior and even some luxury suites, from which you can see the
This is more of a soccer stadium to me.
Hudson River, if I'm not mistaken. On the other side, it's all lawn seating. No complaints from me. Torero Stadium, San Diego Toreros.
Ray, will you coach here? San Diego? I do the one and done. This is a one and done for me. One and done. Just because it's San Diego.
It's a stadium in high demand. As well as the Toreros football and soccer team, it hosts a professional soccer team and a professional rugby team as well, and is set to host a professional women's soccer team in the future. I can understand why they want to play here. It's a pretty cool stadium. There's clearly a lack of flat land available on the campus, so they've had to dig in deep into the earth, which gives the stadium a very unique look, and on top of that, literally, is a building including some press boxes that feature some ornate decorations that just remind you that it's a Catholic university, but it's still a nice addition. Welcome Stadium, Dayton Flyers. We've seen a few stadiums like this in the conference.
Ray, will you coach here? No. This is like a high school stadium with a track, and then after that, they look like them lights look like they had race car over here. So no, I will not coach here.
But there's just something about the fact that it's in the middle of a parking lot rather than nestled amongst a campus that detracts from it. In a fully enclosed stadium, it wouldn't make as much of a difference, but in a stadium like this, I'm not a fan. It does have one thing going for it though, and that is that it's the largest stadium in the conference. A huge 11,000 spectators are welcome. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.
Woo! Them stadiums was not it. I'm telling you right now, them stadiums was not it. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Them stadiums was not it. So the next up is the Big Sky. I can't wait for this one. I'm back. I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get back in it. Let's get back in it. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we got the Big Sky.
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon, and you should too. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
Watch this. I can show you.
Finally, we get to what was the most requested FCS conference. It's based in the western states, where the sky is big apparently. I would have thought the sky would be biggest in the flatter parts of the country, but I guess not. Anyway, we're not here for the sky, we're here for the ground. The stadiums in particular. So here are the Big Sky Conference football stadiums. Alex G. Spanos Stadium, Cal Poly San Luis Mustangs. Straight away you can tell that this conference is going to have some interest.
Right, will you coach here? Cal Poly? I would do 2 to 3 years. The reason I'm doing 2 to 3 years because it is a nice small stadium. You know what I'm saying for college. I would do 2 to 3 years. 2 years is max, and then 3 year. The third year will be like a 1 year contract, just in case we want to do a three-peat. So yeah, I will do 2 to 3 years.
Stadiums. The architecture here is noticeably different from most football stadiums. It mimics the Spanish-inspired architecture that's common in the area. But perhaps the most interesting aspect of this stadium is that they ran out of room and had to build the press boxes over the top of a road. But if you are sitting up there and in the higher up seats, you'll be treated with a pretty scenic view of the nearby mountains. It's going to be pretty hard to top this one, but let's see. Bobcat Stadium, Montana State Bobcats.
Right, will you coach here? Absolutely. I would do 3 years here, 3 to 4 years for Bozeman, Montana, Montana State Bobcats. I would do 3 years here, 3 to 4 years.
Okay, this one's a bit more in line with your typical college stadium.
Coaching-wise,
I guess you could call the design a disjointed horseshoe. The main stand does, however, have an interesting look to it, particularly the exterior. I don't know what they were going for, it's certainly not Spanish-inspired, but I like it. That interesting shape can be seen from the inside as well, atop the press boxes. The stadium's located nearly a mile above sea level, but it's not even the highest in the conference, as you'll see later on. Not even the second highest. Hillsborough Stadium, Portland State Vikings.
Right, will you coach here? Heck no. No. Heck no, I will not coach here. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't like where they try to combine stadiums to make it look ugly. That's ugly. And it's Portland. So it's kind of stupid. So I will not coach here at all. I'm sorry. So Portland, Hillsborough Stadium, Portland State. This is a no for me. Sorry.
Not to be confused with the iconic home of Sheffield Wednesday. But then again, it is attached to a minor league baseball stadium, so I think that sets it apart enough. It's the only stadium in the conference that doesn't have seating along both sidelines. Instead, there are some baseball diamonds. This whole place is probably as multi-purpose as it gets. One thing it does have going for it is plenty of covered seating. It's a pretty cool looking roof as well. And it probably comes in handy in Portland. Holt Arena, Idaho State Bengals.
Right, will you coach here? I don't know. We gotta take a look on the inside though. Outside looks decent. Can't tell if it's an arena or a football stadium. So, like I say, but it looks decent. Let's see the inside, and I'll give you my full grade on it.
The exterior design consists of an arched tin roof that pretty much comes all the way down to the ground for the most part. The simplicity of the design is indicative of its age. It is, after all, the second oldest dome football stadium, behind the stubborn as a mule Astrodome, which of course makes it the oldest in college football. On the inside, you might be surprised to see that the field runs the...
Now, I'm giving you my critique. Well, I coach here. To be honest with you, I wish that the stands was split, like, have a double decker instead of a big long decker of seats. So there's a lot of renovation that needs to be done. To be honest with you, I will do five plus years here, but I'm probably going to do 3 to 4 years here as a coach.
The opposite way that a basketball arena with an arched roof would. So the ceiling is very low behind each end zone. It certainly makes for an interesting look, as does the color combination of those chairback seats, which definitely look like they're from a different era. Hornet Stadium, Sacramento State Hornets. This day,
Sacramento State. Ray, will you coach here? I'll at least do 2 years. 2 years here.
Stadium has the honorable distinction of being the first stadium in the US to host a Canadian Football League game. It was home to the Sacramento gold miners, but that gold rush didn't last very long. When I first saw this stadium, I thought each of the stands had some sort of black cladding that made up the facade, which would have been pretty cool. But it turns out it's bed sheets, I guess. Also, does that name ring any bells? He was a billionaire that donated to several institutions in the state. The stadium unfortunately has a track, as do many in this conference, but at least it looks a little different than usual. Kibbe Dome, Idaho Vandals.
Kibbe Dome. The Kibbe Dome. Right, will you coach here? Let's be real. Will I coach here in the mascot Idaho for the Idaho Vandals? The outside looks more like Montana's, whatever the Tiger, what I'm saying, like the last indoor stadium. The outside looks more like that. Once I see the inside, I'll give you my real critique on it.
What do you get when you add 5 or so years of technological advancements to Holt Arena? A bit of a higher arch, some side entrances. Yeah, it's quite similar from the outside. Just looks a tad better in my view. On the inside, however, you will notice that the field is aligned the way you...
All right, so now I see the inside of it. I will coach here. I will do 5 years here. 5 years plus. I'll at least try to get a bowl, more than one bowl in this with this team. I want to coach with this team and stuff. Yeah, I will coach here for sure. So yes, 5 years. Not plus, not for life, but 5 years.
You'd expect it to be, which allows for these translucent panels behind each end, which aren't quite windows but let in plenty of light, which I'm always a fan of. They weren't an original feature. Actually, I should mention that this was originally an outdoor stadium, with the roof added about 4 years after it opened. I like to think that it's because the neighbors told them to keep it down, but no, if there's one thing I know about Moscow is that it gets quite cold. And Vladimir Putin lives here for some reason. Nottingham Field, or maybe it's Nottingham Field. One thing we do know is that it's Nottingham Field.
Your UNC, Nottingham Field. Ray, will you coach here? To be honest with you, this is a transitional football stadium or team. So this is a one and done.
Northern Colorado Bears. On the surface, it's a very simple design, and yeah, there's not as much to talk about as there was at the last one. But I think it's one of those stadiums that's greater than the sum of its parts. There is, however, some nice brickwork on either side, a little bit of a pond to the south, some nice landscaping, as well as plenty of foliage about the place. Very pleasant. Roos Field, Eastern Washington Eagles. What's black and white and red?
Ray, will you coach here? Yeah, I do. For Eastern Washington, I will do. I'll do 2 years, give or take 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. I'll do 2 years with this team because you can transition to another team with this team. Like I said, this is a 1 year and done team, also, but you can feel like, okay, I need to stay here for another year and stuff, so I get the full fledged of these fans and stuff. So yeah, Eastern Washington University, the Roos Field, yeah, 2 years, 2 years of coaching.
All over. That's right, a newspaper. And if you read a local newspaper 10 or so years ago, you may have stumbled upon an article that detailed Eastern Washington's plans to replace their natural turf field with what appears to be a portal to hell. Out of all the oddly coloured fields, it is certainly the most eye-catching. I still like the teal of Coastal Carolinas the most, but to each their own. This stadium does of course have a track, but if you do want a closer view, I guess you could sit behind one of the end zones, where they often make use of temporary seating that is placed on top of the track.
Bro, these games be making me sick. Bro, them games make me sick.
Stewart Stadium, Weber State Wildcats.
Ray, will you coach here? Weber State, this is a 2 to 3 year deal. I will do at least 2 years here at Weber State. The reason why I'm saying 2 to 3 years because if I do back to back here, I might want to stay and do a three-peat, and then after that three-peat, then I'll leave on good terms and stuff. So this is a 2 to 3 year deal right here.
I said it was going to be hard to top Cal Poly Stadium, and overall, no, this one probably doesn't. But when it comes to the scenery, I think this one's got it covered. It sits at the base of Mount Ogden. Is the town named after the mountain or vice versa? That's just one of those mysteries that we will never know the answer to. Other than the view, there's not a whole lot to this stadium, although I do like how the eastern stand is built into the earth, because that's basically where the mountain starts. UC Davis Health Stadium, UC Davis Aggies.
Right, will you coach here? Absolutely. I would do 3 to 4 years here at UC Davis. I will. This is a nice stadium. I do like it a lot. It's lower bowl. It's really nice. They did a good job to it.
It's the newest stadium in the conference, and it does seem very well designed. Quite a clean look inside and out. And I love the combination of a sunken field with grass berms at each end, as well as the 360-degree concourse up top. which is not a very common combination at all. Not only does it look good in my opinion, but I believe they park food trucks and whatnot up there on game day, so you can still watch the action on the field while in line for a taco. Oh, and I'd just like to point out the name of the county that this stadium is in. I know it's not really relevant, but YOLO. Walk Up Skydome, NAU Lumberjacks.
Flagstaff. So yeah, Walk Up Skydome, North Arizona University. The stadium is all right. I'll at least do 2 years, 2 to 3 years.
It's quite a domey conference, but not the domiest. The Walk Up Skydome has an appropriate name because, if I'm not mistaken, it's the highest dome stadium in the world, at 1.3 miles or 2.1 kilometers above sea level. Unlike the two we saw earlier on, it is a true dome, which is pretty impressive when you consider that the support structure is made of wood.
See that? That's nice. I'll do 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years.
And you can see how they went about it. As you probably learnt at school, the triangle is the strongest shape there is. Although, I'm a bit skeptical. Have you tried dipping Doritos in salsa? That's a delicate operation. The ceiling does actually look pretty cool. It's like a work of art. As is the stadium as a whole, I suppose. Washington Grizzlies Stadium. Montana Grizzlies. Huh? That's
Right, will you coach here for the Montana Grizzlies? Yeah, I will coach here. I'll do 5 years plus. 5 years plus. So yeah, 5 years to life. I will coach here.
confusing, but it is of course named after a donor, Dennis Washington. And the Grizzly part is, yeah, you get the point. The stadium is held in very high regard, at least by the people that leave comments on this channel. And I see what they mean. Not only is the design very cutting edge, with that very interesting seating behind the north end zone and its sizable video screen, but on top of all that, it's surrounded by some incredible mountains. This one is Mount Jumbo. It has a big L. Presumably that stands for elephant. And then you have the self-titled University Mountain over here with its big M, which presumably stands for Montana, but maybe Missoula. Definitely not mountain. Eccles Coliseum, Southern Utah Thunderbirds.
Right, will you coach here for Southern Utah? No, the track is throwing me off, y'all. I can't do that. I'm sorry. Track too big, you know what I'm saying? Everything's too far from the field. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
On the bird's eye view, it looks like your standard horseshoe stadium, but it's far from it. It's called the Coliseum, but the architecture seems to mimic the Pantheon, with a couple of obelisks thrown in for good measure. It's not just the man-made stuff that's easy on the eye, but it being Utah, the view that those sitting on the western side get is quite stunning. They're not just regular mountains, but they're colourful. I definitely do think that a stadium like this would have been so much better without the track though. The Thunderbirds will actually be leaving this conference next season. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
All right. So that was the Big Sky. So the next one we'll do is the Ohio Valley Conference, y'all. So let me find them real quick. So there they go. Ohio Valley. It's showtime.
Total body deodorant. How could she? Now playing at Sight and Sound Theaters in Branson, Missouri.
Everyone has a story.
All young women are to be
For those of you that came to see some Ohio action, the Ohio Valley Conference actually has 0 teams from Ohio. But the Ohio River stretches a long way south and passes through several states. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that's what the Ohio Valley is named after. Anyway, I've already said the word Ohio too many times. Let's just get into the stadiums. Forterra Stadium, Austin P. Governors. I was going to say that I'm not a fan of team names like the Senators or the Governors, but then I saw the mascot.
Ray, will you coach here? Yeah, I'll coach here. I'll at least do 2 to 3 years. It's worthy to do 2 to 3 years here and stuff. So 2 years, if you do it back to back, then get that try to get that three-peat and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or 3 bowl rings and stuff, and then leave. You know what I'm saying? On good terms. Yeah. So 2 to 3 years as a coach. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll coach here.
God has a mustache, monocle, and top hat, and so that's all good. He's more of a suave and sophisticated sort of governor, but you wouldn't want to cross him. Not only is his face on the field, but also on the windows of the exterior. Speaking of which, is a rather nice modern exterior, the main stand at least, which is something you don't see too often in the FCS. The stadium is quite simple but very well put together. Graham Stadium, UT Martin Skyhawks.
Ray, will you coach here? UT Martin in Martin, Tennessee. Um, it's a 1 year deal for me, one and done. This is a one and done. It's more of like a transitional college.
Unlike the last one, this one doesn't have a naming rights sponsor. But I can think of one product that would have a golden opportunity to sponsor Graham Stadium. This is another fairly simple but very well designed stadium. The stands both have brick facades, which I always much prefer to see rather than an exposed steel frame. And after being renovated a few years ago, the press boxes are looking rather nice with their floor-to-ceiling windows. The stadium also has a decent amount of chairback seats. What more could you want? Hawks Stadium, Southeast Missouri State Redhawks. Firstly, I love the arches on the exterior of the main stand, a timeless aesthetic, as well as the plentiful...
Ray, will you coach here? I'll give it a shot. I'll at least do 1 to 2 years here. So one and done. If I do it back to back, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll do 2 years here.
trees on the other side that are almost encroaching onto the field. To the west, some people don't even have to leave their room to watch the game. That's a residence hall. But even those from out of town can keep warm and comfortable at the game. It's one of the only stadiums where you can watch the game without getting out of your car. A common sight at a country footy ground in Australia, but not so much college football for obvious reasons. Man, it's an impressive conference so far. Nissan Stadium, Tennessee State Tigers. Just in case you somehow...
I know this is an NFL stadium, y'all, so TSU do play here, but all this is going to change within 2 years, okay? Because Tennessee Titans supposed to get a new stadium, and this stadium will be demolished. Now, what that means for TSU, we don't know. But yeah, I'm just saying we don't know. So we'll see.
Stumbled upon this video and you don't know too much about American football, the Tennessee State Tigers are not the primary tenant here. It's an NFL stadium. Although they have been here since it opened in '99. They typically don't come close to selling it out, but due to the large capacity and the prime downtown location, it does allow them to have one of the highest average attendances in the FCS, at well over 20,000. I wonder if they would trade the world-class amenities for a smaller and simpler on-campus stadium. Clearly not, because they do have one and they still play here.
And see, that's crazy. That is crazy. Let me. That's their actual stadium. That's crazy. And people don't know that TSU is actually. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull it up for y'all. Yes, TSU is actually a HBCU. People don't know that and stuff. So this is their actual stadium for like this is their HBCU stadium, but they decided to play in Nissan Stadium. But Nissan will be demolished in 2 years. So will they play in a new Tennessee Titans stadium or will they move back over here? We don't know. We'll see.
Because they do have one and they still play here. O'Brien Field, Eastern Illinois Panthers. This is perhaps the most bare-bones stadium.
Right. Will you coach here? Oh, matter of fact, let me go back. For Tennessee State, I will coach Tennessee State. No problem. No problem. You know what I'm saying? I will coach them. All right. There's no guarantee that I will coach Tennessee State. Now the Eastern Illinois Panthers. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Will I coach them? No. The reason why I won't coach them because of the track. The track really messing everything up for them, fan base wise, and I like fans. So, but this is a no go for me. Okay, sorry.
We've seen so far. Doesn't mean it's bad though. I do like that they've added these, are they hedges? Not sure. But it just adds a nice classy touch. Also, I know in this day and age, color doesn't matter, but if you are going to have a track around the field, blue just looks that little bit better. Also, it's the team's colors, so win-win. Roy Stewart Stadium, Murray State Racers.
Right, will you coach this team? It's the same thing from the last team. They do got a nice grandstand, okay? I do like that. But what's throwing me off is this track. The track is missing everything up for you. The track is actually missing everything up for you because you know why? Because of the sand track is taking all your space for another grandstand. If Murray State had another grandstand, I would be here for 3 to 4 years. But other than that, this is a no-go for me. I'm sorry.
Hate to mention the parking once again, but from the bird's eye view, it looks like a grandstand. There is, however, only one grandstand and it's rather large. I say there's only one, but there is sort of a stand within the main stand consisting entirely of chairback seats. Overall, there is a lot of concrete on the inside and out, and so it's a bit monochromatic. But I like how they've enclosed the stadium with these walls. It just makes the stadium that little bit.
I think my cousin went to this school, so shout out to my cousin. But and he actually got signed to Murray State, but he don't play football no more. But he still got his game though. No props to that. But like I say, I understand like a signing bonus or a sign when you sign, seal, deliver to play for a team. You don't care everything is out the window. You don't care what's going on, what stadium you play at. You know what I'm saying? Opportunity is an opportunity. But this stadium is not good to me. You know what I'm saying? As a coach, I would not coach at this particular stadium for this team. I'm sorry.
Bit more cozy. It's kind of like a less extreme version of this stadium in Mexico.
See, I want something like this for a team. You know what I'm saying? For football. If I get this, then you got yourself a darn deal. You know what I'm saying? For me to sign papers to coach. But if you just got that one stand and stuff, and you know you can make another stand, but you decide not to because your track is in the way, who came up with the idea to put the football field on the track field in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Don't make stupid decisions. That's all I'm just saying.
Tucker Stadium, Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. We end with a.
Right, will you coach this team? Tennessee Tech. This is a one and done. One and done. 1 year and I'm out. This is a transitional school.
a fairly conventional, very symmetrical design. I do quite like when you can see the campus buildings from within the stadium, and these ones are rather nice. I think the nearest one is a library. Surprisingly, rather than matching those buildings, the stands here have an all-white exterior. It still looks fine, and it's a solid stadium overall. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please consider.
All right, so that was the Ohio Valley Conference. Now we finna do the Patriot League. Lord have mercy, they got a league called the Patriot League. Okay, here we go.
Dawn Power Wash has 3 cleaning boosters not found in traditional dish soaps. It's more than soap. It's Power
Patriot
Wash.
League.
Now bundle these faves with your choice of a McDouble or McChicken for just $5.
Showtime.
The Patriot League. Let me just start off by saying that it's not affiliated with the New England Patriots, although the logo is quite similar, and it too is based in the northeastern United States. But it's actually a group of fairly well-to-do colleges with some very interesting stadiums. So let's just get into it. Christy Mathewson Memorial Stadium, Bucknell Bison.
Right, will you coach here? Yeah, I coach here. I do 2 to 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Try to get at least one bowl game out of them and stuff. You know, if I get 2 to 3 years, I'll try. Yeah, I'll stay here 2 to 3 years and stuff and try to win. You know what I'm saying? If I can't get the national championship, put me in the bowl game, give me that, give me them rings and stuff, and go by my day, 2 to 3 years, give or take.
It's actually named after a former baseball player, which you might think is a bit odd, considering it's not a baseball field. But I'm fairly sure that Christy Mathewson is the most famous athlete to come.
And see, this is how if you want to do a track, this is how you need to do your sand tracks. Put them behind the end zone. Please do not put them on the side. You know what I'm saying? Because you put them on the side, you're going to mess everything up for your fan base. I'm telling you.
I'm from this school, considering he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. On top of that, he did actually play football for Bucknell. And
because I'm going to say this is how we do it in high school. For our tracks, this is how we do it. We put them behind the end zones and stuff.
Anyway, this seems to be a decent little stadium. I always love it when there's some sort of garden behind one of the end zones, but this one is extra special. They have somehow worked out a way to pollinate the plants without any bees. Coffee Field, Fordham Rams. This one is...
Right, will you coach here? No. I will not coach here. It's too discombobulated. You got too many areas. You got too many sports into one field. I can't do it. I will not coach here.
It's also named after a baseball player, but you can see why that might be appropriate. It is what I would call a stadium of overlapping fields, or a Venn diagram stadium as it's known in southern Turkmenistan. It did actually start out as a baseball stadium, but they started playing football in the outfield, and then installed temporary bleachers followed by a permanent stand. It's certainly a strange sight. But I like how even though it's in the Bronx, you wouldn't know it. It's located right next to the New York Botanical Garden, and it's quite a leafy area. Cooper Field, Georgetown Hoyas.
Right, will you coach here? For Georgetown, I need that other grandstand. I need that other stand on the other side of the field. If I get that other stand on the other side of the field, then yes, I will coach here for 2 to 3 years and stuff. But this is more like a transitional football field or a transitional college team for me. So I will not. This is a one and done. I'm gonna give y'all this. This is a one and done because I do like how y'all update y'all stuff. One and done.
It's a college that's well known for its basketball team. In fact, they play out of Capital One Arena, which has a much larger capacity than this stadium. But then again, so do most supermarkets. It's the smallest stadium in Division I football. But before the recent renovations, it just looked like a field that had some temporary bleachers added. At least now it has a proper grandstand with a brick facade that not only gives it a sense of permanence, but also matches the surrounding buildings that overshadow the field quite well. Crown Field at Andy Kerr Stadium, Colgate Raiders.
Right, will you coach here at Colgate? I will give it a shot. I'll do one year, one and done.
I included the field name in the title just to point out the irony that Colgate play at Crown Field. It's quite a nice setting, plenty of greenery about the place. What else to say? That main grandstand certainly has an interesting design, and something that's a little unusual is that the press boxes are in the away stand, well behind it. Not really important, but just pointing it out. Fisher Stadium, Lafayette Leopards. Another scenic spot, but the...
Right, will you coach here? Lafayette Leopards in Pennsylvania. This stadium is also a one and done. I'm gonna give it a one and done.
Stadium itself is also quite easy on the eye. I do really like it when the grandstand is carved into the earth rather than being a separate structure. As always, I like the coloured benches as well, and those hedges behind each end zone are a nice addition. Not quite on the levels of Sanford Stadium, but wait, are they even hedges? I'll hedge my bets and just call them plants. I've already received enough threats from the botanist community as it is. Either way, it seems like a solid all-round stadium. Fitton Field, Holy Cross Crusaders.
Holy Cross Crusaders. I will coach here. I will coach here. I will do 2 years here. Maybe 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years, because I do like the baseball field. And it's not, even though they close to each other, but it's like they separated them. They're not like collision into each other, okay? So I do like that. But yeah, I would do 2 to 3 years here.
Now, maybe I should have done more research, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think Holy Cross might be a Christian college. I don't know why I say that, I guess I must have heard it somewhere. Anyway, not relevant. See, those red benches made all the difference to the last stadium. This one would have been so much better with a bit of purple to match the team's jersey. It's still an interesting looking stadium though. A very wonky horseshoe that backs onto a ballpark, and Interstate 290. It's stuck between a road and a first base. I should also mention that they've been playing football here for well over 100 years. Not many teams can say the same. Goodman Stadium, Lehigh Mountain Hawks.
Right. Will you coach here? Yeah, I would. I would coach here. You know, it look like it's in the middle of nowhere, but I'll give it a shot. I will coach here. I would do 2 years. 2 years. You know, it look like a 3-year stadium for me, but 2 years. If I get back to back, then I'll go for the 3P. But other than that, it's a 2-year deal.
This might be the most bucolic stadium I've ever seen. It's situated in the Saucon Valley, surrounded by heavily wooded hills. It's like the golf course of stadiums. Well, no, that's this one, but you know what I mean. It does look like it belongs at a country club. Actually, there is a Saucon Valley Country Club. Also, Saucony the shoe company was founded nearby. I wonder if the name Saucon Valley has any connection. Probably. The setting is rather nice, but the landscaping in and around the stadium itself complements it perfectly. And those were the Patriot League stadiums. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
All right, shout out to Worldwide Stadiums. But yeah, pretty much, yeah. So the NCAA football stadiums, part 5. Please like, comment, subscribe the video for more. And yeah, it was interesting. the conference I liked the most was either Ohio Valley Conference and the Big Sky. The Pioneer wasn't really that good to me, and the Patriot League was pretty much like it's and all, but yeah. But so please like, comment, and subscribe to the video, and I'll catch y'all later. Deuces.